What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Patreon episode of Flagrant 2. It's your boy Schulz. We got Akaash Singh in the building, AlexxMedia and Mark Gagnon, the Truffle, and we've heard back from YouTube about the Alex Jones episode being taken down. Let's discuss. Let's talk about a little update with the Alex Jones episode situation. Greatest podcast in podcast history.
Facts.
Some might say.
I say it.
It's been said quite often.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they hit 2 million views under a week. YouTube takes it down.
Yeah, YouTube didn't think it was the greatest.
They didn't think it was the greatest, or they recognized
That's
it's great.
why they took it down, yo.
They took it down
That's the
for that
mark of
reason.
greatness. We got censored.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I asked them why they took it down.
Yeah.
And I got an email back. We have a guy over there at YouTube who's been very helpful for us. I love fucking YouTube. It's amazing. I'm not trying to make this one of these things like YouTube is censoring content creators and this, that, the other. We say the craziest fucking shit in this podcast every single week. We've never been censored.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
One of our most successful episodes was titled "Cum Guzzling Whore" or something like that.
Professional cum guzzler.
Professional cum guzzler.
And YouTube was like,
we'll take that to a milli.
You want some money?
Exactly. They literally just let us run ads on that. Wasn't even demonetized. So YouTube has been absolutely fucking great for us. Obviously, YouTube and Alex Jones beef.
Yes.
So them taking that episode down is a reflection of Alex Jones.
Yes.
Not really of their silencing of us or their censorship of us in Flagrant 2. And they are silencing Alex Jones because that motherfucker was the wildest of boys saying some wild shit and most importantly, believable.
Yeah.
You can say wild shit and nobody believes you and you're not getting censored, right? Like the black Israelites in Times Square say wild shit all fucking time.
Yeah.
Nobody believes them. So they go, yeah, just keep talking your shit.
They're
dress up
also
your
not
weird outfits.
charismatic enough for us to watch.
Yeah.
That's a
Alex
good-ass
Jones
point.
is charismatic enough for you to
Black
watch.
Israelites need Alex Jones. I think
They
that's
need Alex Jones, bro.
Real
He get
talk.
the numbers
Listen
up.
to his reparations take. You might be on the same
Oh,
page.
shit.
And ultimately, he was affecting their money. That YouTube's trying to sell ads, they're trying to make money, and Alex Jones was making advertisers go, oh, I don't want to be advertised on Alex Jones's thing. I don't know if I want to keep on buying ads with you guys, if you're going to put me on his stuff. So YouTube
Can you
gets...
expand a little bit on that, Mark? This is really good.
So I think like putting YouTube and just like stripping them of like a moral motivation is putting a financial motivation. Like they want to pull Alex Jones off because they want to make the most money. And by having this controversial guy on their platform, all these other people are being like, yo, we don't want to advertise with you if you're going to keep on pushing this guy and putting our ads on his videos.
Right. So, for example, a video shoots at 2 million, right? All these ads are on that video. These advertisers might hit up YouTube directly and go, yo, why the fuck are you throwing me on this podcast?
They were doing it before when he was just having his own regular stuff. InfoWars on YouTube.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So they're doing it before and they're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? We don't want to be on this podcast. Like, why are you advertising us with this guy who's saying these crazy things about the shootings at the school and the frogs turning gay and all this other stuff, right? So YouTube goes, whoa. I'm not going to just let you rock on this platform and we can't make no money off of it. We got to pay money for this platform, so you got to pay the piper. And YouTube takes a very generous percentage of the ads, right? Like when you see ads pop up while you're watching this shit, not the ones we're doing, the ones that YouTube puts, YouTube gets the lion's share of that shit, right? Now, we get some money off it. We're not mad. It'd be great if we get more, but they get the vast majority, right? So Mark's basically going, if the companies are like, we're not about this shit, we don't even want to advertise with you, we don't even trust you, it's easier for YouTube to just go, anytime this motherfucker is on a podcast, yank that shit down unless it is completely fact-checked every single word, right? And that's essentially what Joe had to do. Joe had Jamie working overtime, right? Like, crazy Tasmanian devil switching angles, Googling shit, looking stuff up. It was unbelievable what he was able to do.
So glad you said off rip we're not fact checking because I had Google ready to go. So.
I was stressed.
And also, Al's a terrible Googler, bro. It's
That's
unbelievable.
also true.
Yeah, sure.
Dude, it's miserable. We tried looking up a clip on Monday, and he was like, how do I, like, literally typing it in the fucking DuckDuckGo. Couldn't get it figured out. Like,
Shut up. You just learned about iCloud. Shut the fuck up.
Alco
outta
at
here,
Jeeves.
legit. He had no idea.
So, whoopsie. So we made sure that, we tried to set the precedent like, yo, we're not going to do this. They took down the episode. What they said to us was for medical misinformation, which it absolutely was. The first thing Alex started off was the vaccination causes cancer. He pretty much said it.
Yeah.
Now, that's wild.
It's fun.
It's fun,
It's
but
wild.
it's wild.
Yeah.
And it's also
maybe true.
Maybe true.
Who
Yeah,
knows, right? We don't know. We don't
his
know.
Max
Look at the
Kaiser story.
facts. Okay.
Max Kaiser
Thank you, Max
confirmed his
Kaiser.
Bitcoin
the CDC
story.
just last week.
now the crazy shit is that motherfuckers have been saying crazy stuff about the vaccine forever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, or not even about the vaccine, just about Corona. Like at one point, T.I. went on and he's like, I drink tea 3 times a day, and then a hot tea kills the Corona in your throat. You remember when he went and said that? Now, he's not, his whole podcast and his whole platform isn't taken down for medical misinformation. Reality is a lot of us don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah.
I don't think the vaccine causes cancer. Matter of fact, I'm going to go on record and say it does not cause cancer. Go get the vaccine. Let's get back to normal as soon as possible. But if in 20 years everybody that got that fucking vaccine got cancer, my bad, and we want our fucking YouTube video back up and an apology.
That's a fair trade, actually. Yeah.
Yo.
But
Go.
I think YouTube also has to set an example because other people see how popular Alex Jones is, and now other people are going to be like, oh shit, that's how you get on? Let me just say a bunch of bullshit.
That's
so
a
now
good
they got to be like,
point.
yo, chop his head off. If you guys tried it again, same thing will happen.
Or they go, someone else is like, yo, let's have Alex Jones on our podcast. Flagrant got crazy views. Let's put it.
Same.
Yeah, exactly.
Same.
So everybody's going to want to do one with Alex, but if they find out that your shit gets taken down in a few days, then they're like, oh, maybe it's not the same investment. Now, are we going to have Alex Jones back on? You bet your ass we're going to.
We got to have an Alex Jones impersonator. That's what we need.
Yeah, it's not going to be really Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Schmalix Bones is going to be on the podcast.
It'll be Alex Jones with 2 X's.
That's how you do it.
Who could this person be?
AlexxMedia Jones.
AlexxMedia Jones in the building. So what we'll do for that next one, when Al will come back, what we'll do is we'll ask YouTube, what can we say in the beginning that completely discredits everything anybody on this podcast says afterwards, so we don't look as if we're trying to share medical information. Because what we really want, and we had spoken about this, is we just want jokes.
Yes.
And Akaash said this before. He was like, Alex Jones is the funniest stand-up comedian in the world that has never done stand-up.
Yes. Fact. Guy's
Absolutely
a fucking
fucking
stand-up.
hilarious.
So funny.
Absolutely hilarious. Wild boy.
What stand-up isn't? What great? Richard Pryor was a wild boy.
See what you did, YouTube? You got us defending Alex, man. This is your fault. This is their fault.
We got to have one of YouTube's lawyers sit in.
Yes, that would be fun.
And then we just got to turn to him and go, can we say
You know
that?
what I think?
No, that actually is a hilarious episode. We just go wild thing after wild thing. Can we say that and just watch that motherfucker sweat?
And then at the end, he just reads everything that we said wrong.
I love this. A long disclaimer at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're selling like fucking
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals or some shit.
Yeah. This
say-
could cause drowsiness. Yeah. Love it.
Hey, you know, conspiracy theory, maybe why YouTube took it down?
Go.
Because who's ever made Alex seem more likable than us?
Uh-oh.
To the people, not the people that loved him, they already loved him, but the people that didn't, I told him I was skeptical of having him on, but I knew it could make us money, so I did it. So then I talked to him, and this motherfucker won me over, and anybody, I think you said it, you could not agree with anything he says, but you start to like him at the end of our episode.
Undeniable.
When did he win you over? Before or after you sat on his lap?
Yeah.
Right when I felt his big ass dick on my
Did he
underpants.
have the fat?
Oh, it's Alex Jones, dog. I don't think he got a little one.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm not sure. I imagine it looks like him. Just short but stocky.
Yeah.
He got girth.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
man had girth.
I got girth, bro.
You could tell by looking. But I think we made him too likable. I think to objective people, they're going to start looking like, this guy's great.
Yeah, YouTube's like, we're not gonna allow this rebrand, bro. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna be regular. You're not gonna be cool. You're not gonna be fun for the family. Interesting.
Now,
Yeah.
to YouTube's credit, none of the clips came down.
I don't know if that's to YouTube's credit or they don't know that there's
So we don't have clips up. We have an
exactly.
impersonator.
There's no clips of that whole episode and most of the most exciting parts. Those clips don't exist on YouTube.
No.
And the whole episode, this is how do I say this? The streets will always prosper. You know what I'm saying? The streets will always prosper. If you try to ban some shit, it will become more popular.
Yo, they made us legendary.
In 1080p.
In 1080p, sometimes 720. A motherfucker offered that shit to me in 360. I said, keep it.
Bro, that's
You
just
don't give me the weed with
three
the
blobs,
stems
bro.
and the seeds. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It should look like Minecraft.
Yeah.
We don't want the Minecraft Alex Jones episode, buddy. Keep that shit. So the episode has been taken down, but When motherfuckers know a crazy episode is about to come out, especially when you have a fan base as loyal and supportive as us, they get ahead of it.
Yes.
They go, this shit is so wild, I might need to record this just in case it gets taken down.
Yeah.
The asshole army recorded the fuck out of this episode, bruh. And it may or may not exist on different YouTube pages. We're not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I can't confirm. I can't deny. I would never do such a thing, right? Because then they'd probably take it down over there.
Correct.
But it's possible that the greatest episode in podcast history still exists out there. It's possible that what's called, I think, the Streisand effect has taken place.
Yeah.
The Streisand effect, apparently Barbara Streisand wanted to remove a picture of herself from the internet, and that just made people search it even more.
Okay.
When you try to censor something, you only make it more popular. You only make it more searched. So by taking it down, it could actually bite YouTube in the ass.
You want a book to be a bestseller? What do? You ban it.
Ban that motherfucker. Ban that
Now,
motherfucker.
though, when we asked Alex Jones, have you gotten more popular since getting banned? He was like, nah. You remember that?
That's actually a good ass point. But you
No,
know,
that's the, it's gonna. I think it
Resounding no, actually. Now that you mention it.
you know, YouTube, you might be onto something.
No, I think it stops the wave, but it doesn't stop the individual. Like I don't know how this metaphor will work with the wave.
Yo, but it wasn't like
It stops the swell, maybe, but it doesn't stop the individual wave.
where you're saying in his individual case the wave got stopped because.
The wave of the episode kept happening, but there weren't multiple episodes of people getting them on all their pods, etc.
Put it this way. They completely removed him from the internet. They removed his fucking Shopify account and shit. They removed his credit card. Like, he was like, yo, you don't exist anymore. You can't make no money. You can't talk. You can't do nothing.
Yeah, he's hanging out with Skype right now.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you say he's hanging out with Scottie Pippen?
With
Skype.
Oh, Skype. I was like, what's Scottie Pippen do?
Larsa?
That's true. That was a big fuck up. That's super simp shit right there. Where's Derek Jackson Jr. or whatever
you.
that relationship? We need some help over there.
Probably fucking her, to be honest.
True.
Yeah.
So they removed him completely so he couldn't even continue the wave. But if you have an episode taken down, like in our situation, it just creates more curiosity about the people that put out that episode.
Yeah.
Hold on. Who is this podcast where the episode got taken? What's up with these guys? What's going on over here? I mean, downloads have been fucking crazy. Let's keep it a buck. Downloads been all right over here in these streets. New people finding out about the flagrancy. New people enjoying the flagrancy. You know what I'm saying? We had your boy Chris Hansen come on.
Yeah.
Shit is up there around $1 million if you include audio and video. So, shouts to Chris Hansen.
Yes.
Yep.
You know? Maybe we just got to have people on who don't like pedophiles a lot.
That's probably a good move.
Is that?
I think that's a good move.
Okay, who's next?
No Clinton will ever be on this podcast.
Would you have Ghislaine Maxwell on?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the opposite. But I think.
But it would get views.
So a Ghislaine Maxwell interview would be unfucking believable, bro.
We would get murdered for sure.
We got to have Alex Jones come on and dress up like Ghislaine Maxwell.
That's the move.
That would be
That's the move.
the greatest interview in history. I'm calling Alex the second this podcast is done. We are having him on, and he's going to dress up as Ghislaine Maxwell. He's going to keep his exact voice, and we're going to do a fucking interview.
That still might be medical misinformation.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
Him dressing up as her is medically misinformative.
It is misinformative. God damn it. Medical misinformation.
Yeah.
We
It's
just
the
have to
RICO
acknowledge-
laws of YouTube.
It is the RICO law.
Oh, that's a
of
good
YouTube.
point. The busted headlight. Yeah.
It is that. It's the excuse to take something down.
Yeah.
YouTube knows there's so much fucking misinformation on this platform. They're 100% aware of it. They just need a reason to take some shit down that they don't want to get too much heat.
Yeah.
And on some level, I fucking understand it.
Yeah.
Like, they had so many opportunities to take our shit down in the past for just being wild boys, but they didn't because they're like, they don't have bad intentions, and they say what they are. They're a comedy podcast.
Right.
I think most importantly, advertisers weren't terrified of that in the same way they're scared of Alex Jones. So these other random conspiracy guys, even if they're really big, if they might get 500,000, 1 million views on a video,
Yeah.
they're not as terrifying to advertisers.
That's it. So don't piss off the advertisers.
Yeah. So if you're going to be a conspiracy theorist, don't get so big to where advertisers are afraid of you.
Don't make the block hot.
Don't make the block hot. Figure out who the advertisers are for YouTube and the advertisers that end up on your channel, and and do not be conspiratorial about them at all. They may be like, Bounty are the best paper towels to clean up a body that just got buried by the Clintons.
That guy's in the forest, the Bounty guy. You know
I heard he's in the forest looking for pedophiles.
at Bohemian Grove, bro. He's literally going through Bohemian Grove.
So that's the deal with the Alexx Jones app. We know a lot of people have been reaching out, asking to see it, etc. That's the back and forth we've had with YouTube. We've asked them for the information, the medical misinformation in the episode section that we could just clip out and put it back up. We're waiting for a response about that. If they do come back and they say, hey, we can remove that section of the podcast and then put it back up, we're going to put it back up for your viewing pleasure. Absolutely not. If not, it may or may not be up somewhere on YouTube still. We do not know. We do not know. Maybe if we can get a copy of it in decent quality, maybe that ends up on patreon.com/flagrant2. Biggest comedy Patreon in the world. Maybe that goes up there with a little disclaimer, which is do not trust any medical information on this whole fucking podcast.
Do not trust any information from any of us ever. Ever from us.
Feelings, no facts. Remember that. Baby. Okay? You fact checkers. Maybe that's why they're so pissed. They're like, I wish I had feelings. I wish I could feel things about the videos I watch. Imagine being a fact checker, dude. Imagine being someone who's watching this very video.
The most boring job.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because I'm kind of a fact checker.
You know the miserable?
I understand the pain. You don't know how many facts I checked that I don't even say. I go, all right. I just stopped. Do you remember the early days? I was fact checking all the time, typing away.
Technically, dude. Technically is the worst way to start.
I hate it, dude. I hate it.
Yeah,
I'll throw a shoe at you. You're my President Bush if you start a sentence with technically.
I think I stopped fact checking literally after one time when I said it technically, and Akaash just goes, ugh. I swear to God. Do you remember that episode? I forgot what happened. You literally were like, oh no, I think you just go, yo, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That sounds more like it.
And I was like, but the Vikings didn't come here until the 1200s.
We're not about that technicality, bruh. Knockout over here. We don't win by technicality or lose.
Facts. Yeah, KO. We not leaving it up to the refs.
Yeah.
Oh, I have something that I want to talk about. I want to talk about how karma has finally caught up to the greatest internet con man in history.
Yep.
Yes.
Derek Jackson, everybody. It's time to talk about Derek Jackson.
Yeah.
Alex, can you explain to the people who the fuck this monumental scumbag is, Derek Jackson?
So Derek Jackson is a bitch ass nigga who has made a career off of bashing men, and he uplifts women so women support him because he's always saying how, if men aren't ready to lock you down, leave them. Like basically all the Steve Harvey shit. Like all his books were about that same shit. But like he does it excessively, and then to all men were cheering today because he got caught cheating, and he tried to get ahead of the story by, sitting down with his wife and saying, hey, I had these transgressions. At first, there was an interview where he said, I had a sexual relationship without having sex, which is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then he knew some shit was about to come out. And then he's like, nah. Okay.
I'm owning up to all of it.
I'm owning up to all of it. And his wife looks like she didn't want to be in this video at all.
That shit was hilarious.
The bag was on the line.
At the same time.
Kidnapped. Mad comments were like, wink once if you don't want to be here.
Oh my God. I felt so bad for her. And then she comes out with a video herself alone. And she sounds like a crazy person who's like a little bit like brainwashed.
Yeah.
So
what does she say? She's like supporting him?
She's all about God and shit like that. She's like, this is his journey with God and coming back and all this stuff. Like she doesn't fault him.
Yo, God's the ultimate wingman, bro.
Yeah, God, it really is. I used to say like, I'm not religious, but I want my girl to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you might want to cheat on me, but you're not going to cheat on Jesus.
Forgiveness. Forgiveness.
But okay, I want to get to the God component later because I think there's something interesting about that as well, and how like manipulative. He talks about dudes being manipulative all the time, and he's using the ultimate manipulation tactic, right? By using God as a wingman.
Yeah.
But let's just talk back to him. So to describe him as Steve Harvey, I think you were being generous, right? Like you were maybe being like the most.
The thing like a man.
I know the thing like, but like he takes it to such another level, and what he's basically calling out is like guys being douches, right? which he's not wrong. Like, we all know guys can be douches, and we all know guys can fucking go out there and cheat and be pieces of shit to women. But he's telling women exactly what they want to hear, and he's profiting off of that pain that he's giving them slight relief. He's not giving any context. He's not giving any nuance. You are always right, sweetheart. These men are always wrong. They're pieces of shit. And he's showcasing what an exemplary. Damn, that shit is. I felt like I was saying nice Templar. that was a weird word to say. Exemplary. What an exemplary boyfriend and man he is, right? He is Carl Lenson, that shit. Right?
That's why I fucking hate him. And every guy that's like that is a cheater. I try to tell my girl all the time, the guy that's like, I would never cheat. I am such a great boyfriend. Any man who cheats, how could you? How dare you? Men are evolutionarily designed to fuck everything.
Yeah. What is that Chris Rock joke? Like, I wouldn't do it, but I understand.
That was about a different thing, but
still applies.
So the second you see a guy like that, he's a fucking televangelist.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that's like, I'm going to save you and I'm going to heal you of all your bullshit. You're a fucking fraud.
Yes.
I didn't even know who he was. And the second I saw that video, I was like, this guy cheats.
Yeah. Now, is he just the male version of like the pick-me girls? You know what I mean?
Is that?
Have you ever heard that term, like a pick-me? Like the girl that's like, oh yeah, all these other girls, like they're not shit. Like they always nag and they don't know how to like be a good wife, and I know how to be a diesel. And I can do all
she's
this
a
good
liar
stuff.
too. I don't believe that
But
bitch.
those girls are usually fat and ugly, and he's like a good looking.
Oh, he yoked.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Tall.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like a guy that you would want to date, especially if he lived up to all these values. I can totally imagine women out there going, oh my God, that's the catch. That's
Men
the
like
dream.
that do exist.
Exactly.
He looks like he doesn't have to manipulate.
100%.
But yeah, he does.
And he's writing these books based on all these things that he's talking about in his videos, and it's complete and utter bullshit. And men, we know it's complete and utter bullshit, but we can't exactly go out there and say,
Call him out on it.
we can't call him out because he's saying don't cheat. So we're going to be like,
We look like
sometimes
cheaters.
you got to cheat a little bit, right? Clearly, what he's saying is right, but we know that he's a fraud
Grosses me out.
for leaning into it.
All
Exactly.
men knew he was a fraud.
Even he knew he was a fraud, right?
And when we met him, he came on Brilliant Idiots.
He came on Brilliant Idiots.
I could tell the fraud.
Really?
Yes. So
Why-
he
how
came
could
on
you
Brilliant
tell?
Idiots. He was trying to fucking expose Charla, criticize Charla when Charla was going through his fuck shit. And
That's a predator, man. I hate that shit.
100%. Because
Predator.
he's no different than these woke motherfuckers. He's
Oh, yeah.
woke with relationships.
Yes.
He's preying on a dude fucking up. He needs a dude to fuck up that week so he got some shit to talk about.
He benefits by putting other men down. Yeah.
We got to uplift our kings. What do these bitches say? Like, we can't be attacking each other. Queens got to unite.
Yeah, yeah.
Why are women making fun of other women? Blah, blah, blah. Because it gets views. But in all seriousness, he's doing this shit. We all know it's fake. And finally, it all comes crumbling down.
Yeah.
And the difference between him and like a Carl Lentz guy is Carl wasn't out there fucking judging people, right?
Correct.
Carl was out there going, hey, this is how you live a good Christian life. And actually, I believe helping people and making people feel good about themselves and introducing them to God. And if God is who they needed in their life, it was something that was going to improve their life. Carl, real quick. So Carl wasn't going around going, you're a bad person and you're a bad person and Muslims are bad and Jews are bad. And he wasn't putting down all these other religions. He was just saying, hey, this is how you can live a better life. And then he had his moral transgressions and he fucked up. And I'm not trying to defend Carl, but I am saying there is a fundamental difference between someone who makes a living going around saying how shitty all these guys are, meanwhile they're being shitty.
Yeah.
In terms of someone going, hey, this can really help your life and lead a better life. Because for those people that leaned into Christianity because of Carl, I'm sure there's plenty of them that are still feeling really good because of that Christianity, despite Carl not living up to it.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it doesn't seem as fraudulent because Carl never said I'm perfect. On our podcast, he talked about how he used to be pretty fucking wild. So it's just like a guy and he would say Jesus saves, glory be to God, and all of that. And he's incredibly accepting within his church. Just an open-minded guy. So if he has a slip up, he has a slip up, and I expected better from you. I'm disappointed in you, but I don't feel like you're a fucking slimy phony like I do with a guy like Derek Jackson, who is, I'm perfect, you're all dog shit, every man is dog shit, prey on ladies, you deserve this, you deserve that, because I'm like this. And
Carl
then
Lentz is the messenger who's also like, I fuck up.
Yeah.
Derek Jackson was like, nah, I'm Jesus.
Yeah.
And if we found out Jesus fucked up, we'd be pretty upset.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it comes out he's cheating. He's in this multiple sexual relationships. He's the motherfucker that goes, you could cheat without cheating. You could cheat by DMing people. You could cheat. Like he takes cheating to another level. Yeah. If you check on girls that you've had, sex with in the past, that's cheating. If you're looking at girls' pictures, that's cheating. He's like, everything's cheating. And of course, women out here like, everything is cheating because they're fucking crazy. He's leaning into their psychosis.
Yeah.
Man.
Fuck, nigga. I hate that guy.
He is a horrible human being. He is a horrible human being for two reasons. One, he doesn't help relationships. He tears them apart. Yeah. He creates unrealistic expectations for what a relationship is and makes women absolutely miserable in those relationships.
Bar.
Isn't it true, though?
Bar, yes.
He's telling all these girls things that are completely unrealistic. And on the surface, it looks like you shouldn't get cheated on. But when you go deep down, it's, he looked at another girl as she walked down the street. That's cheating.
Yeah.
This person really loves you. He won't look at anyone. How the fuck are we not supposed to look? If I look, I'm going to see.
He taps into your deepest insecurities for a woman and says, no, if you're a woman, it says, those are right.
Yeah.
Those insecurities are right. Don't be logical and say, men are whatever. You're right. That insecurity, that's right.
The relationship that he is saying should exist can't even exist for him.
Yep.
So it is completely unrealistic. Therefore, you set unrealistic expectations for what a relationship is.
Yeah.
All the people that you are profiting off of are now more miserable because of those expectations that you set. And the guys that would live up to the things that you're saying are complete simps. So now those women are completely miserable with those fucking simps that you set them up with. Absolute human garbage piece of shit.
Yep.
Now we get to this manipulation. His girl, who I guess is leaned into, is very religious, right? Yeah. Mark, you could speak on this a little bit. As a very religious dude, how can religion be used as like a manipulation tactic in relationship?
Well, I mean,
this is not me making an indictment on you.
Yeah, but like I've seen it before where like if you come from a very traditional like Christian home, like the man is like the ruler of the house and like the woman is supposed to be subservient and like based in the community, like the expectation is like, the woman's gonna like listen to whatever you say. And if you take that to a crazy degree where you're able to like just do whatever you want and then be like, forgive me, it's fine, whatever. Like if you're able to play that manipulation tactic, then you can get away with a lot of shit and hold yourself to a different standard than you would hold her to in the relationship. And then on top of that, you add the God thing where it's like, you have to forgive me because God wants you to. You have to fight for our marriage because that's what God wants. You made a promise to God, so you can't leave me, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, he can do whatever he wants because he's, running the show, so to speak.
So now you get complete freedom.
Yep.
You get complete freedom because your spouse, or your girlfriend, your person you're dating, whatever, is in this committed relationship with God that you can take advantage of. Because God also said, I'm gonna fuck up. So if you believe God...
Yeah, we're broken people. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is super manipulative.
Yeah.
So not only is he manipulating all these women out there and making them absolutely miserable, right? He's manipulating his own girl with, this is maybe the most diabolically disgusting form of manipulation. When you manipulate somebody based on a thing that they care more about than anything else in the world.
Oh, yeah.
When you use God...
That's
to
terrorism.
Abuse a fucking girl, yo. Because that's what he's doing.
And
right?
he's manipulating his religion. Like
that's what terrorists do. Yeah. He's a relationship terrorist.
He's a relationship terrorist. You would no. No, but that's such a fucking great point.
Yeah.
You're using God in order to not only terrorize this girl that you're completely abusing because you're not only cheating on her non-fucking stop, but you're also putting her through that emotional stress that then she has to deal with God, not you.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you feel horrible, but God said that you have to forgive me, so let's run it back.
And if you don't forgive him, now you failed God.
Now you failed God.
Now think about how shitty you feel. Yeah. I'm the one that's supposed to forgive. He didn't fuck up. I'm fucking up by not forgiving him. I'm the one failing God, not him.
They got this guy in jail, yo.
He's a monster.
This guy's a fucking monster. Like, to do all that shit and profit on it, sell all these books, sell all this other shit.
Relationship predator, dude.
Son, so this is a lot of people saying karma. Karma is him being completely exposed for a fraud. And I know there's so many people that like, and a lot of women, unfortunately, who had really trusted him and valued him. And I think when when you dedicate that much time, we were talking about this on the regular episode this week, when you dedicate that much time and also money in a human being or a person or a thing, it's really hard for you to separate yourself from it because you're pot committed, right? Like you would rather keep believing than feel like you were duped.
Yes.
And I completely understand it, and I like empathize for those people.
Yeah.
It really fucking sucks that they have to go through that. So a lot of them are just going to go along with it. A lot of them are just going to be like, oh yeah, he fucked up, but human beings fuck up, and this is what we have to do. We have to make our relationship stronger, this, that, the other, right? They're not going to see him for the fucking fraud that he is.
Right.
So who knows how much karma he really gets, but he fucked with the wrong guy.
Yeah. I didn't even know about this if it wasn't for Duval.
Bro, let me tell you something, and I mean this sincerely, anybody there on the internet, if you choose to fuck with Duval or the people that Duval loves, God bless you, man. May God bless you, because when the time comes, you will feel the reckoning. Duval, you know, comedians can like latch. We do it on this podcast. Like we call it the spin cycle. We latch on us when somebody feeling a little uncomfortable, and then we go all in. This motherfucker Duval is a suicide bomber with that shit.
Right.
It is unbelievable, the precision. And I was just watching him hit video after video after meme after meme. They got music, they got edits. His entire feed was consumed with just destroying this man. He is fucking Thanos, dude. He is Thanos with all the stones. And I'm telling you, if you make an enemy out of this man, God fucking bless you. He's lucky that they took down Duval's other Instagrams.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now it's a couple 100,000. But imagine it was 3 million, the way that he could move the internet.
Yo. You know what's funny is Derek
Jackson would have killed himself.
I never seen so many blue checks laughing at shit in my life.
Bro.
Every dude with a blue check was dying at Duval's Derek Jackson jokes. They were waiting. They were so happy to see him fall.
Yeah.
All these famous ass dudes being like, this guy ruined it for me, man.
Yeah.
Making all this impossible shit seem real.
Yeah.
And the second Duval latched on, they were so happy.
Yeah. There's something about profiting off of something with zero redeeming value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually not mad at, like, I'm curious about what you guys take on, like, the mega church guys are. Like, part of me goes, I'm not really mad, because if all those people at that church are having a fucking unreal time, like they feel so good, even if you don't believe in it, but you're making them feel so good, and you're like this driving point in their life for really not bad things. You're not preaching hate or anything. You're preaching acceptance. Like, we could go into certain things.
No, I agree. No.
So it's like, I'm like, all right, you make tons of money, but if you make tons of people feel good and try to act good, I'm not that upset at it.
I don't mind it. In Texas, there's tons of mega churches everywhere. I don't mind it based on what that guy is promising. If he's promising salvation through God, and I'm a servant of God, and I'm
if he's
Carl
promising
Lentz,
money,
Carl Lentz, I didn't mind because it was, hey, I'm a servant of God. These guys who are like, I'll heal all your demons, I'll do this, you send me this money. Those are fucking losers and monsters, and honestly, throw them in jail.
Good point.
But if you're just, hey, like, Joel Osteen apparently did a lot of fuck shit that I don't know about, but from a distance, I was like, oh, this just seems like a guy who's saying God can save. And he has a massive church. Cool.
That's a good
for you.
distinction.
I don't know the underneath shit, but just from a distance, that's what it seemed like. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, it really kind of depends on the person. Like, I'm gonna reserve to say they're all bad, but like, it basically, I think if you're coming from like an American Protestant perspective, where like there's very much the idea of like the Protestant work ethic, where like, if you work hard, God will bless you, and God blesses you because you're a good Christian, and if you have money, it's because God loves you, etc. And so that's where you hear all these Christians being like, yeah, we're blessed. We're very blessed. God's blessed us. Basically, like, we got tons of money because God loves us because we're good Christians, blah, blah, blah. And so that's like a very like American Protestant thing. And so, I don't know. I think like once you mix in like Christianity with like American capitalism, you get to a place where it's like using God for money and then trying to like hoard and keep the money, which is like
anti-Christian.
Kind of anti-Christian, yeah. Like so much of Christianity is like,
what's the saying about
give your wealth, it's harder to get into heaven. Like a rich man getting to heaven is like a camel going through the eye of a needle or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like very much like sell everything, give to the poor, that kind of stuff. And so to see someone with millions of dollars in private jets, it seems antithetical to what the Bible is. So it's like, are they just manipulating the word, like the Bible, in order to make money.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
like,
point.
If they're taking in a ton of money and have this mega church, I don't think there's anything wrong with having massive churches and having like a wealthy church. But to have a wealthy individual, I think is when it gets.
That's a good point.
When it gets seedy, because a poor
Great
church.
distinction.
Yeah, a poor church can't help a poor people.
That's the Jay-Z bar.
Yeah.
What is that?
Right? Like, I can't help the poor if I'm one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but you need a governing institution that's going to be able to like allocate the money in a reasonable way.
And by
actually,
governing institution, you mean like within the church? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like if it's going to the church and then there's a church body saying we're going to donate all the money that people are tithing, etc. And we're
That's
going to
a
pay
great
for this big
distinction.
church. We're going to build shelters, stuff like that. If you're just a guy,
We're going to build houses in Costa Rica. We're going to do
whatever
all
it
these
is, yeah. But if you're just a guy that
goes,
goes, I'm going to have this mega church and I'm going to make $20 million a year and then keep it and invest it and make money and grow my money, it's like
That's a good point.
to me, it feels like you are a rich person that is using the church to become rich, as opposed
That's
to
the same way I feel about a lot of nonprofits. It's like this is supposed to be a nonprofit. You're supposed to just basically take the money to cover all, day-to-day functions, and then the rest is supposed to be given back or like donated and things of that nature. But you see a lot of the CEOs of these nonprofits
getting crazy money,
crazy rich.
Yeah.
And so it's like
The NFL is a nonprofit organization somehow.
Yeah. Like that.
I don't understand that. Yeah. Some distinction.
So I feel the same way about these mega churches when they're super wealthy. I'm like, yo, give that money back. Help people.
That's a good point.
That's a great point.
I think Rolex is a nonprofit.
So nonprofit, you're saying a lot of these companies are just using the tax haven that a nonprofit is,
Yes.
and then they're funneling the profit into CEO salaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I see.
Which is kind of like whatever, because you're not saying like you should live in poverty, you should be poor or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
once
yeah, yeah.
like you take the Christian route where it's like, yeah, you should
And
donate
then-
money and give to the poor, and then you don't, it's like,
And you could also make the argument that it's inherently more selfish since churches are tax exempt.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you have this ability to like withhold all this wealth and grow wealth at a much faster pace.
And you're not even helping the government.
Right, than the average person. And like, okay, let's say best case scenario, by paying taxes, you help poor people. Like, you're not even giving money to the government, let's say.
Yeah.
I mean, you are, and they manage it poorly. Who gives a fuck? But like, let's say by giving that money to the government, that trickles down. I don't care if it does or doesn't, but let's say that trickles down into the poor people. By not doing that as a church and not giving it directly to the poor people, you can make the argument that you're double taking away from the less fortunate.
You're robbing from the poor, but also robbing from society, from America, because you're not paying taxes.
Interesting. Okay.
You could have fixed all these potholes. We ain't got shit.
Yeah.
Just
Improve the public schools, which would probably help poor people more. Like,
Yeah. No, it's really tricky because like how much giving is enough, right? Like,
I mean, even the church, you got to give 10% of what you make to the church, right? So even a church could give 10% at least. At the very least, a church could give 10%.
Right.
But theoretically, you should give much more, I assume.
yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is like, how much should Joel Osteen make? Right. And I think you made an interesting point about like capitalism being intertwined with Christianity in America. Right. So this idea that like God is blessing you with this wealth because you've been good. Now, all of a sudden you're grandfathered into your wealth. You don't feel guilty about it because it's coming from God.
Yeah.
Well, if God is giving it to me, then I guess I should keep it. Who the fuck am I to give it away?
I'm doing something right.
I must be doing something right. But what would be the limit? You know how we like limit salaries for government figures? Like we limit the salary of the president.
Yeah. NBA
Like,
players, whatever. Yeah.
NBA players have a salary cap, right?
Yeah.
Like, what? I mean, this is where you need like a governing body for Christianity. This is, I guess, where Catholicism is good, when you have just one guy that goes, "This is what cardinals make,"
Right.
right?
Yeah. Institutions are good when they want to do good stuff, but also really bad when they want to
Do bad
stuff.
And you can't say that this church and this church are going to abide by the same rules outside of the ones in the Bible.
Yeah.
So if it was like $250,000 is the limit, like if Joel Osteen said, I'm taking $250,000. To put this in perspective, there's a electronics store in New York called B&H, right? That's owned by one of the Hasidic Jewish communities in New York and employs fucking probably half of them. I was told, I can't verify this, I was told that the guy who owns it is a very wealthy guy. He takes a salary of $100,000 a year. That's it. This is the electronics store in New York.
Maybe in America. Online, they got a crazy presence,
Oh, that's
too.
a great point.
It's like the CEO of Best Buy.
It's the only place I've been to where you can't beat their prices online.
Yeah.
I've never seen a store like this in electronics in my life. Best Buy, I can always find cheaper shit online. B&H, I cannot.
It's an important distinction for people who aren't in New York or are unfamiliar. Like, it's not like Best Buy in terms of you walk in there and then some guy who has no fucking clue what the camera
Also
does.
true.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody there has like a degree.
They know their shit.
They really know their shit, right? So it is the preeminent electronic store, let's say in maybe North America.
Mm-hmm.
The guy takes $100,000 a year salary. Now, this could be bullshit, but some Hasidic Jewish guys that came to a comedy show that shouldn't, Sabbath, it was literally on Friday night. But they told me, they're like, yeah, he just takes $100,000 because he feels, religiously speaking, he shouldn't be profiting so much off of this. He's limiting his own salary because for religious reasons.
He is already wealthy, though, right?
I can't speak to the rest of his wealth. All I know is that he could be making millions as the CEO, but he's choosing to make 100,000.
Right.
What he does with the rest of that money, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I can't speak on it. But it's kind of an interesting idea. Like, what if Joel Osteen was like, I have to cap my wealth at $250,000 a year. I can live an incredibly comfortable life here, and the rest of that money is going to be money from the church, and we'll do cool things for the church.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I wouldn't even be upset if Joel Osteen had a plane, if he capped his own personal wealth and was using that plane to fly around and preach the gospel, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. There's something cool about that.
That's part of the reason why priests take a vow of celibacy. Because they're like, I can't have a family if I'm committed to a life of poverty.
Yeah, that hasn't really worked out that well. They should probably rethink that one, but I see the point.
No, that's really cool.
Like, how do I raise kids? Because also Catholics are supposed to have a bunch of kids.
I didn't
So he's
know
like,
that.
I'm going to have 6 kids, but also be committed to a life of making $50,000 a year, $40,000 a year, whatever.
Yeah.
It's almost cruel to bring 6 kids into this world.
And
or
a
8
wife,
kids
and
into
like,
this
how do I
world.
pay for this? Can't send it to private school,
The
whatever.
church is my family. How can I have another
So that's
family?
what the theory is, that you're married to the church.
And also, not to bring facts into this, but the owner of B&H, Herman Schreiber, his net worth of $900 million.
$900 million. Yeah.
He might take a
He's
little bit
probably
more
doing
than
okay.
No, what they do, it's the same way like all the CEOs that relinquished their salaries this year during COVID. They still took their stock awards. So, Tim Cook for Apple could have said, I'm taking $1 this year, but like, what your awards and stock were, you probably still made
That's
billions.
another thing that's important to distinguish, right? Like net worth, for example, like you can own a house. That leans into your net worth, but the house isn't cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like they could own the building that B&H is in, and they could own like the whole dockyards. They have another, you ever go pick up something like in Brooklyn or whatever? There's another one in Jersey. They could own those foundations and they could be worth tens of millions of dollars, but it's not like he can give a piece of that away to various charities. He still owns look, and it could be total horse shit that the guys were just selling me. I just thought it was pretty cool to see like a religious guy that was in the situation to make tons of money off of something and like be willing to give it back.
My cousin actually works there in like the sales department, and he went to he's pretty religious. So that could be something that like he basically created this company that's also like a great like first career for folks right out of college, like you were saying. Pretty educated. They're offering a service.
Yo, that thing about Catholic is so interesting. I never understood the celibacy play, but if you're committing yourself to a life of poverty, it's almost cruel to have this large Catholic family.
Also, I say poverty. It's not really poverty.
Yeah. Also, wouldn't you say as a religious person that you're not in poverty? That's plenty of money for a family. Yeah. I think the idea I still think mainly is you're married to God, you're married to your church, you're married to your whatever you call your people,
Congregation.
Your congregation. You can't also have a second family. This is your family. I would think that's it. I do think.
But you allow new members into your church. Why wouldn't you allow new members into your family?
Because the new members of the church are part of it. They're like growing a family. They're not a whole separate family that will require most of my attention.
Why would it require more of your attention? Just
because
divide up
kids,
your attention?
I got to give my kids so much of my attention. I got to give my son, way more attention than I give a new 38-year-old guy who just walked into the church. It's just logic and just the way things work.
What if God is just like, no, you give it the same?
Yeah, that's cool. We can do that, God. It's just not going to practically happen that easily.
Why not?
You would think God understands.
I mean, there are plenty of fathers that give no attention to their kids.
They're not the best fathers, though. We're not talking about those guys like they're great fathers.
I'm just saying, like, if God, I mean, there's plenty of parents, like, NBA players can't be with their kids all the time. They're spending half the year abroad.
Yeah.
Not abroad, but like in different cities. You know what I mean? So it's like there are situations where you can't be with your kids. All these CEOs can't be with their kids. But what's adding a few more kids to the congregation?
Yeah. I don't want to go too far down this. I think that's the idea. I don't think it's a good idea, so I don't want to defend it to death. But I think that's the idea.
Yeah, I don't get it.
What do you mean?
I mean, just add a few more kids. Have your kids with you. I understand the mathematics. I understand like the profit matrix way more than I understand just not adding more kids. Like, because then if you can't dedicate a certain amount of time, you'd be like, well, we got to cap this at 50 because I can only dedicate so much time to my congregation. But the idea is increase the size of the congregation, which limits the amount of time you could spend with each individual Catholic within your quote unquote family.
Yeah, but you're still giving to the church. It's still for the church. The church is my family. That's where I pour all my resources in right now. When I have kids, that divest the energy I can give to the church.
No, your wife takes care of that. This is the Catholic thing, right? The man of the household, the wife takes care of all the kids and everything like that.
That's a good point about the wife, to be honest, Mark. I think you guys should rethink it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it's a good idea. I think that's the theory behind it.
Pay the Catholic priests per kid.
Oh.
So the more kids you have, the more money you make?
Yeah. I mean, that's how the government works, right? Don't you get money per kid?
Yeah, I think you get a big tax break per kid.
Yeah. And I think you're getting paid out per kid, too, if you're
Doesn't
below the poverty line.
Doesn't that just incentivize priests to just keep having kids?
Yeah. There you go. Clearly they have a nice sex drive, dude. I think they should do it.
Oh, man.
I don't know. What else we got, man? What else we got going on? We got
mass shooting in Colorado.
Yo, the mass shooting in Colorado. There was a mass shooting in Colorado, and there was a mass shooting in
Atlanta.
Oh, the massage parlor thing was LA?
Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So 2 mass shootings this week. This is what I saw from the media. You guys tell me if I'm onto something or not. This is media reaction.
Okay.
When a white guy commits a mass shooting, right? The media response is white men are the greatest terrorist threat in America. Mm-hmm. The greatest domestic terrorist threat are white men. We have to watch out for white men. Something's wrong with white men, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
When a minority commits a mass shooting, it's guns are the biggest threat to America. Yep. We need to limit guns. We have to do gun control. It's all about guns.
Yeah.
Am I off in interpreting the media's reaction? Or is that true? Is there partial truth to it? Is this a left-wing, right-wing reaction? What are you guys' thoughts?
I think the right and left would both respond differently, but the same.
Okay.
Whereas if a brown guy does it, yo, these guys are terrorists, etc. In the left, if a white guy does it, these guys are terrorists, etc. And then if it's not your tribe, now it's a different reason. Let's find a different reason. Or if it's like of your tribe, if your tribe fucked up, oh no, it can't be that. It's got to be something else.
So you're leaning into your politics
Yes.
no matter what. So if a brown guy does the mass shooting, the right-wing blogs go, we have radical Islam in this
America.
country, and this is a
Immigration
problem.
laws are too loose. Tighten up immigration
And maybe
laws.
even all media for a long time after 9/11.
Yes.
Like, I don't even think it was just right-wing media from like 2001 to 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
all
true.
media was like right or radical Islam, blah blah blah.
Yes. And then as the left kind of moved away from their fear of Muslims, the left-wing media also was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's not the real issue.
Right.
But the right kept on it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the left media is a reaction to so much of like the right media saying Islamic terrorists, where they go, oh, well, white men are the actual terrorists. Sometimes reactionary to,
Which
I
is
think,
also
the precedent.
stupid.
Yes.
It's just like, are we trying to solve anything, or are we just arguing with each other?
Yes.
Do you guys actually care about a solution, or do you just want to be right?
No, they just want
want to be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they want to be right. They want to Derek Jackson it. They want to feed the emotions of the people who are reading their blogs and watching their videos, etc. Right? They're not even there to educate. They're there to confirm.
Yep.
Right? Oh, is this how you feel? We got your back. Mm-hmm. Right? Oh, there was another mass shooting. You don't like guns? Here's the reason why.
Yeah.
And there was like this is why we got to get rid of assault rifles. And then they looked into it and it's like, no, it wasn't really an assault rifle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this is why white people are the people that we need to stop the most, and they're the most dangerous people in America. And it's like, oh, actually wasn't.
San Bernardino was also a brown guy, right?
Yeah.
We had a couple.
Yeah.
We had a couple.
Now, what makes this one interesting, like also going off your thing, I brought this up before, but like if you're comparing the Atlanta one to this one, like the coverage is inherently different because the nature of the two are kind of different. Where it's like a white guy versus like an all minority like shop killing mostly Asian people versus like a Muslim guy, which for all intents and purposes, he's not really Muslim. Like he kind of is, but kind of not. Like there's a picture of him and I was like surprised. I don't know why. Maybe that's like my internalized like racial bias, but like I saw a picture of him and I was like, Oh yeah, he has a very Muslim name, but like he lived in America most of his life.
Yeah.
He's a Syrian family. He actually had the stereotypes of like the loner white shooter.
Yeah.
Shooter.
He looks like an alt comic. This guy should be at a Brooklyn comic book show.
Creek in the cave.
Yeah, this is 90% of the comics in Austin right now. That have moved to Austin, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's the interesting part when the
Zach
media.
Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Also, his last name is Alyssa.
Hate you.
Alyssa. Right? And then Fa told me if you break up his name, like Issa means the Jesus.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
So is he like a Christian Syrian or something?
I think some people were looking into it to find. I think it was confirmed that he was Muslim.
Right.
But
That's interesting.
But yeah, at first glance, he looks like a good old American boy. Like
But
this
yeah.
guy fits the fuck in.
And according to his family, like he wasn't like a religious person.
Right. Right.
And so like he lived in America most of his life, not really religious, gets made fun of for being Muslim.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is seeing the media reaction suggesting that like he is, a Muslim radical terrorist and what's the issue with Islam and things like that.
Yeah.
Is this just another case of like basically a white dude shooting up a bunch of people?
It is.
Kind of,
It
right?
probably is. What I actually think it's the case of is, I was doing a little research on this, and maybe it's more sensitive to me because I'm, my brother is schizophrenic, et cetera.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it was saying that he had like mental issues,
I think that's a lot of
He was paranoid. He thought people were following him.
paranoia, people following him. He was confronting people and like kind of fighting them for no reason. And I'm like hearing this, I'm like, fuck, this is kind of similar to like what I've experienced with my brother. And my brother couldn't be less religious than he is. If this guy's name was like Jack Dorsey, if this guy's name was something Asian, it doesn't matter what the fuck his name would be. This is going to still be the same outcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to throw religion on top of it, or the right-wing blogs are going to throw religion on top of it. The left-wing blogs are going to throw gun control on top of it, and still nobody's going to speak about the main defining characteristic, which is this guy was mentally unhealthy.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe a year of fucking lockdown and quarantine.
Buddy, I said this and it didn't seem popular. I think we're going to have a lot more shootings this summer.
Bro.
I think a year of lockdown, not seeing people, everybody that has a mental illness, it just grew and got worse.
My
and
brother's
I think,
got worse.
Yeah, man. Everybody, I think even like people who are mentally healthy for the most part struggled at some point.
This is the tricky thing about mental illness, right? You need to be around people to normalize yourself. But the deeper you go into the mental illness, the less you can be around people because it's so hard for people to be around you.
And then it just feeds itself.
And then that negative cycle exactly feeds itself. So you take all these people who are on the cusp of crazy, right?
But they're functional. Yeah.
They're functional. They got some friends. Maybe they work at a fucking grocery store or something. So you're like, yeah, he's a little weird, but every once in a while he says something kind of funny and we like him and we're not going to tease him. He's a nice guy. Like maybe he works at the gym and he does like some like cleaning or whatever.
Yeah, he's quirky or whatever.
He's quirky. Yeah. He's around enough people to just fucking hold it together, right? Now you're locked down for a year. You're not around anybody but yourself and your own crazy thoughts.
Yeah.
That negative cycle, for some extreme circumstances, is going to end up like this.
Yeah.
Now to go to the gun control combo.
Yeah.
Like I don't know really what I'm kind of undecided on it because like I like guns and I think they're fun.
Yeah.
And like I like the idea of personal protection, but at the same time, like should mentally unstable people be able to get them? I don't know.
I think that they should because it's more fun. I think that there's this weird thing where like people I guess get caught up in the slippery slope argument maybe, but like I think we can all agree that there are limitations for things, right?
Yes.
Like blind people shouldn't be able to drive.
Right.
And why should they not be able to drive? Because they could hurt people with this car.
Yeah.
Being blind and driving is no different to me than being mentally unfit and having a gun.
Yes.
You have this instrument.
You are a danger to those around you.
Yeah. They can literally murder tons of people. A blind person in a car, everybody would unanimously agree. There's no fucking way we're going to
And you know how crazy you would sound if you were like, what's next? You're not going to let anybody drive? No, we're talking about one specific group of people. Let's make it a little hard. There should be a test to drive. You think when they first proposed a driving test, everybody's like, what's next, big government? No, there can be, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I don't think we should get rid of all
I don't even like when they let the people with no feet drive.
It's a little wild,
Or
dog.
the people with no arms. You know, there's always some fucking TLC. Nah,
They
you
got the
need
steering wheel
arms.
adjustment with the fucking clip and the hanger thing. Yeah.
2 feet.
Give them Uber VIP.
That's it.
Well, you actually only need 1 foot to drive though.
But I want 2. In the event your foot falls asleep, I want the other one to be able to slam the brake.
It's coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, back up.
Until Elon gets this drive the car by itself shit 100% down.
Yo, you backseat.
Backseat, bro.
Missing toes?
Nope.
No?
Nah,
Missing toes, I'll let you rock.
Nah, sorry. One shark attack, you not driving no more, bro. Don't go in the ocean.
What if you stubbed your big toe really, really bad?
You can't drive.
Wait, why not?
Tell it heels?
Son, you can't drive if you were out in the sun too long.
How long?
And you're like going like that a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you know what
If you looked at a solar eclipse?
If you looked at a solar eclipse the day before, you're not allowed to drive.
What if it's
for 3 days.
What if it's too early?
Too early?
Yeah.
And you're yawning? Can't drive.
What if you have allergies?
Son, we about to fix traffic, bro. Also, if you're Hispanic, you can't drive. After being in Miami, for about a couple months, everybody who just heard that sentence will completely agree.
Yep.
If you are Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban,
it's the Central American ones.
also them.
Yeah.
If you speak Spanish, you're not allowed to drive.
Bilingual?
But if you speak Spanglish,
If you
you're
speak
good. You're good.
Yeah, if you speak Spanish better than English, you're not allowed
You
to
know
drive.
how committed you are to this? You speak Spanish. Who drives in your family?
My girl.
There you go. So don't
I
judge
don't drive.
Andrew.
I know my limitations.
He's not Derek Jackson. He out here about that
I'm
life.
Hippocrates, baby. No, but that's true. I'm okay with limitations on shit.
Yes.
Like you can't ride the fucking ride at Six Flags if you're not a certain height.
Yeah.
They don't want you flying out of that bitch.
These guys mentally aren't a certain height.
They not a certain height to hold a gun.
Yeah.
So I think proponents of like people who want guns, I don't know why I'm making their argument for them.
No, we need that.
They would say it's like a slippery slope. It's like, all right, you start restricting guns from mentally ill
Let him
people.
get-
Now you're going to start taking guns from this group and that group and that group, and now you're going
You're basically saying who defines mentally ill?
Yeah,
Who
but
gets to be the
they
definition?
also don't even want that to start, because then you'll start picking off other groups that you start taking guns away from. So they're like, we're not going to let any of that shit start, so that way you can't hop onto
Women menstruating, I don't think they should be able to. I think you got to lock your gun case to your calendar on your phone. You know how they got the little period app? I think you got to lock your gun case to your
Cycle
period
tracker,
app.
yeah.
Exactly. They're tracking your cycle.
God.
The second that period hits, that gun is useless. You're not allowed to use it because honestly, it's a problem.
Yeah.
They could go shoot up anything. They could go shoot up me.
What about horoscopes?
Also, horoscopes. You can't use it if you're into horoscopes because you're fucking crazy. You're a psychotic person. If you believe that you're a Capricorn and that does anything to your personality, you're not allowed to use a gun.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Scorpio. No, you were going to say something to Al.
That slippery
theory.
slope shit is just I hate when people do that in any argument because you can do it in any argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then-
But that's what they do.
Yeah, but then you're wrong. Like that's what our whole point is about. People who are blind can't drive.
Yeah.
You can't slippery slope that.
But
and be
that
like,
shit
"What's
does
up with that?"
work because there was a lot of people like, should we let women vote? You know, this is a slippery slope. And then here we are in Action Park. You know what I mean? These bitches done turned it into the log flume. You know what I mean?
Everybody voting.
Everybody
You're
out there
right about
voting.
it.
They slippery sloped us into everybody voting. Is that what you wanted?
No, but I think when people were like, "What? We let women vote? We let everybody vote?" I think a lot of people were like, "Yeah, I think that makes sense."
Yeah, that's a good idea. We should slip that way. Yo, that's funny. The guy that makes the slippery slope argument to expose how bigoted he is. Yeah. So we just gonna let everybody be free. So everybody's gonna have freedom. Everybody should get paid the same for the same work.
Everybody equal?
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
You want to let black people eat at the diner and white people eat at the diner?
Same water fountain.
Same one water fountain. Yo, that character, the slippery slope guy during the civil rights movement, is hysterical. They got to do that on SNL.
They won't.
They won't, but that would be so funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's the issue with the slippery slope shit though, is that like all the bad shit in history started from a slippery slope. And so that's what they point to is they're like, oh, well, in Nazi Germany, it started because this happened. Then they eroded
I hate when they do that too. They did that with.
But-
They did that against Trump. The left did. I
But-
hated it.
All the good shit also happened because of slippery
Yeah,
slope.
exactly, yeah.
So everything happens good or bad because of slippery slope, and time dictates whether it's good or bad.
And
Yes.
people, yeah.
Right? So slippery slope is the natural course of change.
Yeah.
And human beings are capable of good change and shitty change. So stop using slippery slope as an argument because it's just as responsible for good as it is bad.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of, maybe we shouldn't use slippery slope. It's more of just like censorship and then freedom.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Like censorship, you could argue that limiting the amount of people that get guns is a form of censorship
Okay. I'm with you.
for your Second Amendment right. Is a Second Amendment a gun?
Sure.
So a function of censorship, so limiting guns is a function of censorship, right? There is a freedom component with it, which is like everybody gets a gun. And right now we're constantly battling how free we should really fucking be.
Yes.
Right? And the freedom argument is a way tougher argument because by making the freedom argument, you got to go, well, I guess some people need to die. Every freedom argument comes down to, I'm okay with a certain amount of deaths in order to protect the greater population and their freedoms when they might need a gun. That's a really tricky argument to make. I really respect people making that argument.
It's easy to make if you're very far removed from it. Like,
am I articulating what I'm trying to say? Right?
I think so.
Yeah, you're not taking the morally correct argument in like a direct sense because you're trying to protect a moral injustice that is way more abstract.
That's it. Protecting the abstract thing is way harder.
Yeah, you're like we got to have our guns. That way the government tyranny doesn't come over and they can do whatever they want with us.
And people are like, what is government tyranny? What are you talking about? What is this? People are so far removed from like a coup. But if you go to Myanmar and ask them.
Not that far.
What?
I mean, what happened at the...
But that shit ain't even work. Like, nobody thought that shit was going to work. You know what I mean? But if in Myanmar, if you ask them, you go, hey, how do you feel about people having guns? They're like, man, I wish we had some fucking guns. The military people are trying to take over the country. They're trying to do a coup.
Yeah. A mass shooting is way more visceral than like the fear of a coup or some type of like government overreach.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to argue that point.
And you can move the argument towards, like they were talking about masks, a car has a seatbelt, a gun should have its seatbelts or its helmets for a motorcycle. And they're just, they don't want to hear, like, if what happens if now they just pass a seatbelt law for cars? People would be fighting against, how are you going to tell us we have to be strapped in?
Oh, apparently they did do that early on with seatbelts. They were like, it's my car, I'm driving, it's my life. Well, you don't get to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And then we just all kind of got used to it, but they didn't restrict any other freedoms with cars.
Yeah.
They weren't like,
their kid got in a car accident and went right through the fucking windshield, and they're like, all right, maybe we should put some seatbelts on.
Exactly.
I guess that's maybe the distinction is like, we're not against regulation. We just don't want it to come from governing bodies. Like, parents regulate their kids' behavior all the time, even the most like freedom conscious parents. Like the super I am freedom parents are often hardcore Christians, right? Like the right wing pushback against government tyranny people are often religious, which comes with a whole set of fucking rules.
Yeah.
So they're not against rules. They're like, let it be from God or let it be from mom and dad. Don't let it be from these political hacks.
Right.
Yeah.
I can empathize with that a bit.
I can empathize with it. I don't agree with it, but I can empathize with it. I can see where you're going. When people slippery slope me in any argument, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
When the left was like, this is how Hitler started with Trump. I was like, what are you talking about?
But we got to also acknowledge
take each thing as it comes.
A lot of dudes only got pussy because of slippery slope. Put the tip in. That's slippery slope, bro.
That's a good point.
Slippery slope is put the tip in. Like, let me get some head quick. Let me just lick your pussy.
Yeah. No.
Quick, real quick.
Simp.
Do you know what I mean?
You'd simp if you ever went with that one. So.
What? Let me lick your pussy?
Yeah. Like, just that?
What if I just want to lick pussy?
Is that Derek
I'm
Jackson
just out
shit
here
right
trying
there.
to. Yo, that's another thing, bro. A lot of people out here slippery sloping themselves into some pussy. They don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
They completely okay slippery sloping into pussy, but they're not okay with slippery sloping.
Maybe that's how they know the dangerous of the slippery slope. The danger. They're like, I slippery slope myself into so much ass I shouldn't have got. Yo, we can't just let this slippery slope happen.
Yo, that's another good point about Derek Jackson. How he's supposed to be a relationship expert if he doesn't go experience?
That's true.
Like, how's he supposed to know how wrong cheating is if he doesn't cheat?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what he
made
told
him
his
the
girl.
expert.
That's what made him the expert.
Yeah.
He's like the serial killer who was killing motherfuckers, or like a detective.
He's the hacker. Remember how, like, they hack into the CIA and the CIA goes, nah, we need that motherfucker. Don't put him in jail. Put him out here.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can.
Yes,
that's
he's
what he
Leo
is.
and Catch Me If You Can. And you got caught, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Your mom got a wooden leg with a kickstand.
Yeah. That was weird though, because it's like a lot of people agree, oh yeah, we shouldn't have like rocket launchers. Like you can't just go buy it. Can you buy a rocket launcher? I don't think you can, but like,
No, that's a good ass point. Like, there's a limit to guns.
so a lot
right?
of people are like, yeah, you shouldn't be able to buy a rocket launcher, but then like they just draw their own personal line. I wonder if like hardcore Southern like gun lovers were like told like a cultural history in the same way like black people were told a cultural history. You know what I mean?
Go on.
Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes I'll talk to black people and they know stuff about like black oppression that I'd never heard about because it's passed on in the family. And so they're like, yeah, this is what we went through. This is our history. This is what we have to do. This is like who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. And like, I feel like Southern conservatives do the same thing with guns where they're like, look, the government's going to take your guns. You got to watch out for the government. They're going to take them. They're going to take them. They're going to take them. So like, I was never raised with that. So whenever I hear people being like, you can't touch any of our guns because you're going to take all of them, I'm like, where's that coming from? And I'm assuming it's from like the family and the community, like traumatizing and scaring them as kids.
I mean, listen, I didn't grow up in the deepest South, but in Texas, I knew a lot of people like that, but I never heard the story of oppression along with it. For black people, for however many years you learn, like, oh, there's some historical precedent for this oppression. Growing up, high school, around these guys, I didn't hear it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It just seems like a thing that seems plausible, so they latch onto it.
Yeah. But that is interesting that, like, we're only aware of our own stories.
Yeah.
Right? And this idea that, like, the stories that we learn and the stories that we consume and believe dictate our history and also our reaction to the events that are happening now.
Dictates your whole reality.
Your whole reality, yeah. And because we grew up in New York where guns were super hard to come by, at least legally, like we don't have this fear of having it removed.
Yeah.
Because it was never there to start.
Yeah.
But if it's always in the back of their minds, oh my God, this thing could be removed. Oh my God, we're about to take this thing away from you. Yeah, like I could completely understand that, man.
Yeah, and I just wonder what those shared stories are that gives people so much fear.
Yeah, when in history
I wonder if it's
did
like
they...
What if it was like, did you see what we did to black people when they didn't have wouldn't that be so funny?
It might be a Confederacy thing where they're like, yo, we didn't have enough guns and we got murked by the North or some shit. Like, and they might not be saying it as explicitly, but they're like, yeah, like in order to keep our shit, we got to have guns.
Yeah, I think the play is just protecting the family. That's the easiest argument.
I mean, that's the best argument.
The best argument I heard for guns. It's the best argument I heard. It wasn't protect your family. It was, I'm a girl and I was going to get raped in this parking lot and I had a gun on me and I stopped the rapist. Do you want to take away my ability to stop myself from getting raped? Would you prefer that I got raped? And I saw this play out on Twitter and I was like, that is no longer an abstract argument about removal of freedoms. It's the same argument as this shooting killed these people. This gun protected this woman. All of us don't want women to get raped. All of us want women to be protected. And the idea that she was able to protect herself completely flipped me on gun. I was like, give all women guns. Just let them have guns, except for the 1 week of the month. Yeah. But like me saying that story right now, isn't there a little part of you that goes like, fuck.
Yeah, 100%. And I do believe guns are...
I'm like, kind of sort of.
Like, the rapes happen. That's what Mark is saying.
No, I'm like, there's other ways to defend yourself.
Hollywood, Mark.
But like, there's other ways to defend
like
yourself.
mace, you're saying.
I don't know, like get a knife, get something.
A gun is super effective.
A knife might not scare that person.
A gun is the most effective form of self-protection. And I heard a story, I think it was in Texas. A guy walked into a bar and started shooting. It's open carry. Another guy had a gun, shot that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Problem
they love
solved.
them stories. Whenever that shit happens.
Boy. And I see the merit into that. So I don't think take away all guns. It can be harder to get guns, though, can't? Like, that just doesn't seem crazy to me.
Yeah, I think there's a balance. I think with all of it, but...
I think a possible balance would just be civilians have to have rubber bullets. You get shot with a rubber bullet, you're still stopping.
That's interesting.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Now that's really interesting, and I think I'm on board with that. What you will create, unfortunately, is a black market for the real bullets. What were you saying?
I was gonna say I would think it would increase like civilian shootings.
Where
it's like if someone cuts me off in traffic and I have road rage, I'm gonna pull out my gun, but I'm not gonna shoot him.
I'll pull out an assault rifle with rubber bullets.
Yeah, I'll shoot the fuck out of someone with a rubber bullet, bro. Click, bro.
You're still
everybody just had paintballs.
Yeah,
dude,
I'm at the grocery store. Oh, you're taking long to self checkout. You bought alcohol first thing. Now they got to come swipe your thing. Boom, headshot. Yeah, with the rubber bullet.
That is true. We could become more frivolous.
But it's still the same crimes taking that shot, whether it's a rubber bullet or a regular bullet. So if you charge people with the same thing, then you're not going to just take your gun out and start shooting.
Yeah, but you can't charge someone with attempted murder if we know that you're not going to murder them.
You can still die.
I would think the black market...
So it should still be attempted murder.
That's interesting.
Or they have a high charge for it or something. Yeah.
No, whatever. It should be attempted murder.
You know, it's interesting. I would think the black market, I was going to say in London, they took away all guns, but there's still gang violence with guns. Yeah. But it's also interesting, if you don't know if the guy has a rubber bullet or a real bullet, Like y'all both got guns pointed at each other, and you don't know you both got real bullets. You both got that might solve a
or
problem
a flag
too.
that says "bang" when it flips out.
Yeah, that'd be
Like,
sick.
it could be
Love
anything.
that, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then if the guy got scared, you'd be like, "Look at you, pussy."
it says "pussy" on the flag.
What else we got, boys? What else we got?
There was actually a lot of fire. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Every news station taking a plunge in the ratings
Oh yeah.
since Trump is gone.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
is it every single news station, or is it just the left-wing one?
I know CNN took a massive hit. I don't know
It's
about
gotta
Fox
be
News.
all of them, bro.
I got some datas here. Let
I
me go
think
find
Fox
it.
News also probably took a hit because I think early on at least, right-wing people felt betrayed that they were like calling Arizona early and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm sure they went to One America or
So
whatever.
I have here, Trump said in 2017, newspapers, television, all forms of media will tank if I'm not there because without me, their ratings are going to go down the tubes.
He's
2
right.
months since he's gone, news outlets are losing much of their audience. The Trump bump is now a slump, is what they're calling it. The traffic plummeted. Let's see what we have here. Most deeply affected network is CNN. It surpassed Fox and MSNBC in January. You guys remember that, right?
Yes.
CNN has lost 45% of primetime audience in the past 5 weeks. MSNBC dropped 26% in the same period. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. According to this article, Fox News is down also. Did you just read that?
No,
Yeah.
but
According to
that's
this-
what Akaash was saying.
Yeah, Fox News ratings free fall and worst ratings they've had in 20 years, according to another article.
Wow, man.
Trump was, listen, I think you can be great for ratings and for those reasons not be a great president. Trump was great for ratings. For all the reasons that I'm glad he's out of office.
Yes.
He was great for ratings. He's saying all this divisive shit that's fucking dividing the country even more, inciting everybody's emotions. That's not what I want in a president.
Yeah.
It's great TV.
I also think
that he made a
that's
really great point. Like,
It's you turn America into a reality show. We love reality shows. It's The Bachelor.
you're fucking right.
I mean, he's the crazy girl on The Bachelor, but that got to be The Bachelor or The Bachelorette or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's great for ratings. I loved it. It was entertaining. We always had something to talk about.
Yeah.
For that reason.
It was stressful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's stressful.
Yeah.
And with the stress comes the divisiveness, and you felt the country, whether it was on social media or in real life, kind of being pulled apart at
Yes.
the seams, which for everybody is difficult, regardless of what you believe in. Either side, both you can agree, like, yo, there's a lot of fucking tension.
Yo.
Especially if you're not someone that's trying to just jump to a side.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you're someone
if
that's
you're in the
trying to-
middle, you're on the seam.
If you're
Yeah.
trying to stay nuanced and like,
We're
you
getting
know,
pulled.
Yeah. That's where the people that I felt were most tense. It's the people that are like, oh yeah, I can just say he sucks always, fuck Trump forever. Those people had it easy. I mean, not easy, but easier.
Yes. Or I can say I love Trump.
They get to come together.
They're together.
There's people in the middle that are like, oh, I gotta pick
Literally
apart.
us, every conversation you have with a human being, you got to decipher if they're a Trump person or not. How much can you be honest with your feelings?
Slice every statement.
How dangerous is it going to get? How crazy is this going to get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Al?
I was going to say, so I think last year was the best case scenario for the news because they had Trump, they had everybody locked in their houses, they had racial divisiveness. Look at us. We are the example of why the news ratings went down. Shit is opening back up. Have any of us looked at the news?
No.
We don't give a fuck.
Second we came to Florida, we turned that shit off.
But we were stuck in our house with nothing to do. Trump was entertaining.
Timing-wise,
racial
though.
divide was entertaining, but it was like
There's a difference between, I know what you're saying. You're not saying
Captivating.
entertaining. Yeah, it was captivating.
yeah. So it's like
Entertainment, you think it's
Now-
positive. It's not always positive. Like The
Exactly.
Bachelor can be morally reprehensible or whatever.
Yeah.
Bankrupt, I think Mark said. It's like a morally bankrupt show that we're like, I think, what did you say about Chris Hansen? You're like, why are we asking him to have the host of a morally bankrupt show to like have high morals when thinking about things?
Yeah, exactly.
But we're going,
no, yeah. So I was just gonna say, I think they just had best case scenario last year. That's why their ratings were through the roof.
Yeah.
And now they have the complete opposite.
So it's like
two
it's a
people-
regression. Yeah.
what were you saying, Akaash?
To your point, you were saying like when we came to Miami, we stopped giving a fuck. Also, right before we left Miami was the Capitol riots. So like, there's shit to watch. Then once Biden got sworn in, everything just kind of calmed down.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it's not as high stakes.
I think
so it's not
everybody came
just
down.
Miami.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
also it's not as crazy, and we're just like, oh, bet we're out, and we're open, we're good.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the question: is Trump the greatest sugar daddy in history? And I'm not talking about in terms of hoes,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about in terms of like the different companies, people, organizations that have profited off of him.
Yeah. How many millionaires did he make from?
How many celebrities did he make? Now, he's not necessarily profiting off of those people, but those people are profiting off of him.
How many houses did he make or buy from saying crazy shit? Yeah.
Kind of interesting way to look at things, right? Like, it's this like love-hate relationship. You don't think the CNN hates that he's not there?
Trump is LeBron. Trump is Michael Jordan. He lifts all the ratings for
Franchise
everybody.
player, bro.
No, the whole league, bro. If LeBron is out for the whole
I hear
year,
what you're
ratings are
saying.
down. If the year Jordan retired, ratings just fucking free fell.
Yeah.
Trump is there, ratings are up. Trump is out, ratings free fall.
He's Floyd Mayweather with boxing. Like, nobody gives a fuck about
No interest
boxing now,
anymore.
but when Floyd was in a game, we were paying attention.
Entertainment-wise, he's a GOAT. Entertainment-wise, he's one of the GOATs. You're not going to have a president, hopefully, that entertaining ever again.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a CNN, right? If you're an MSNBC, if you're one of these like networks that has been really fucked by it, just brutalized by it, are you going to position the next person that is going to run against Biden as Trump because it's effective for ratings, even if they are not Trump-esque in nature?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Trump's just always going to be a metric for anything political. Like, I was even trying to read about the immigration thing, and this CNN story is how the let me read this. How the current U.S.-Mexico border crisis compares with the peak of Trump era in 2019.
Yeah, so they're just bringing Trump into whatever the conversation
It's difficult
is.
to talk about current politics without referencing back to Trump because they know.
Yo, bro, you know what they're doing right now with all this Stop Asian Hate? They are, and you can make an argument, potentially rightfully so, but they're going, what is this? The fucking Senator Judy something, I forget her name, but she was like, all of this recent Asian hate was stoked by President Trump and the Trump administration.
Oh, yeah, they're doing that, yeah.
And they're leaning in hard to what that is. Now, you can make the argument that by saying that the China virus, by saying something is the China virus is making people beat up Asians in the street, which I think is unfair because Angela Merkel right now is saying that the UK strain is going to cause another lockdown in Germany. And I don't think Germans are just beating up British people in the streets because of it.
To be fair, you don't just know by looking that someone is British, but...
Do you not?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, you're wearing a soccer jersey with
you
pants
just
over the knees.
Look at their face
Teeth.
and hate them.
Pale with,
how it works.
pale with yellow teeth, white skin, yellow teeth. None of it matches. Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. That's a fair point. I take it back.
But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, she is labeling the strain from where it came.
Brazilian strain, South African strain. That's what we've done with every strain.
Exactly. So now it's hateful because Trump was like the China virus?
Yeah.
Now, I think it's an indictment of like Americans being stupid that they're just looking at fucking Asian people and going, well, you're responsible for that virus that happened in a country that might not even be where your family's from.
Correct.
That's stupid.
Right.
But Trump calling it the China virus and being critical of China is not stupid. I don't think it's racist.
I don't
and
think it's
not
necessarily hateful.
Americans are stupid, guys.
Say what?
Americans are stupid.
People
We
are
all
stupid.
stupid,
People
bro.
are stupid.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's dangerous.
Also, why do all the Vietnamese look so Chinese? You know what I mean? Why are you walking around looking all Chinese for no reason?
That's a good ass point, though.
Oh, man.
Nah, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
we should be able to hold a country accountable if they dealt with the pandemic shitty. And because of them dealing with the pandemic shitty, these other countries, ourselves included, are now greatly affected.
Hold a
by it.
government accountable, not people that probably aren't even associated with that government in any way, shape, or
And
form.
what do we know about China? The people have no say
Nothing.
about the fucking government.
Yeah.
So you can't go, you're fucked up
They don't
for
even
being
control-
a Chinese person because you have absolutely no say what your dictatorship does.
You don't even have control of your own life.
Yeah.
I have control over how they control a pandemic. No
Yeah.
chance.
But it was a lack of nuance on Trump's part.
Yes.
Where
That's the thing.
you got to know you're the president. Like, this has always been my critique of him is like, you got to know your role and like know that what you say is going to be scrutinized and people are going to interpret it in like a very basic way. And he was getting ratings and views by calling shit crazy stuff without
Call
nuance.
that shit, bro. Call that shit the Kung Flu. Call that shit whatever you want to do, but it is what it is, bro.
I think it's different with jokes and like if you want to joke around and call shit whatever and be silly, but like when you're the president, it's like, I don't know.
Nah, bro. You do you.
But it is interesting though that like a lot of the attacks on like Asian people were from like people that might not have supported Trump. Yeah,
right?
I don't know. Like I see like a hood dude in like New York, some black guy like up.
Pissing on a lady in the
I'm like,
subway or
I
whatever
don't
the
see
fuck.
that guy being a Trump supporter. Maybe he is, but I don't necessarily. I wouldn't label that guy a Trump supporter.
Yo, that is another thing that's quite interesting is that we jump to the conclusion that all these people that are beating up Asians are Trump supporters. And then you see the videos come out and they don't technically look like it. Maybe we're making an assumption by assuming some black dude isn't going to vote for Trump, but I think it's a pretty fair assumption.
Yeah, a black dude in New York, I don't see it.
So now you got a Biden supporter who is upset at this Asian lady and like beating up this Asian lady or pissing on the.
I don't even know if it's a Biden supporter. It just is someone that like might be apolitical or whatever. Like,
I don't think it matters who they support. It's like if the president of the United States is saying,
But if you hate that president, wouldn't you theoretically be like, yo, that's fucked up?
Yeah,
but it might just seep into the culture.
Yeah, you put that in the culture. You put that in the eco.
He creates like the zeitgeist, I guess.
So what do you want to call it? The Chinese government virus?
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
That changes
fine.
a lot.
The
Chinese
CCP
government
virus?
virus. Nah, CCP is not China enough. It got to be on China. Chinese government virus.
I think if you
Chinese
do that, it
communist virus?
actually makes a pretty big difference.
The Chinese communist virus.
It's a lot to say, but it does reframe fuck the China government.
CCP is Chinese communist pandemic. That's what CCP is.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Chinese communist pandemic. The communist pandemic.
Yeah.
China pandemic. Chinese pandemic.
I think that,
Everybody Asians pandemic.
now that would have been better.
That's a little
but-
slippery slope right there.
Don't say slow. No.
Now, that would have been a better thing to say, but Trump doesn't always say the better thing. He says the thing that's going to get the most clicks and ratings and attention.
That's why
Most
they've used
digestible thing. I don't know what the
exactly.
fuck a communist virus is.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know, aren't all viruses pretty communist? Like,
So
affect all people equally. You know, like
he says the most sugary stuff.
he does say the most sugary stuff.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I think there's worse things that he said than calling a virus from China the China virus.
China government virus does make you. It's actually what we would want. We want people to realize the Chinese government is on some real fuck shit.
Yo, that's a really good point here because the UK strain didn't come from the UK government. It came from the UK people.
Yeah,
Right? Just being fucking
UK.
gross. Yeah, like,
what they do. Fucking
Wait, why do
travel
they have
everywhere.
their own strain? What is it about them?
They're just they're gross people. And then they spread it to the world just like they did their fucking empire. You know what I mean?
But thank God, dude.
They don't brush their teeth.
They do.
They do now?
I don't know.
Nah.
Yeah.
It might get stuck in the makeup, bro.
What do you mean?
All the girls caking up the makeup.
Dude,
Oh,
yeah,
bro,
It might get stuck in the eyeliner or something.
the people that know how to use makeup the worst are British women, dude.
Are you sure they're not just the ugliest?
That's the thing,
That's
though.
a
I don't
great
know
point.
if they're. I don't think they're the ugliest, bro.
No, you're making actually a
bro, I
good
hate
point.
this.
They're the San Francisco of Europe. It's the same geographic area. Like they're all far left, just like San
The
Francisco.
guy is
Nah, he's
making
just
an
lashing out, bro.
undeniable point.
He's lashing out.
He's making an undeniable point.
Don't make me wrong.
Nah, he's lashing out.
Don't make me
because of
wrong.
Colonization. He's fighting back. He's
Mark-
so attracted to British women. That
Mark,
That's what it is.
I have to give you a little
capable,
pushback.
You're French, dog.
It
You
is,
should
bro.
hate them too.
Ugliest women are
I hate them
Irish.
second to
Irish is the ugliest, right?
Okay.
Then Great Britain.
Irish is what though?
Okay,
British.
My mom's from Great Britain. Like I'm insulting her right
Isn't
now.
Ireland
and her
too?
entire family. Well, there's also Ireland is its own country,
Oh, yeah.
and then there's
like half and half or
yeah,
something.
there's like North Ireland is its
Northern
own
Republic
country
or something.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
Belfast and shit.
Yeah, whatever the one.
close
They're
enough,
all
yeah.
ugly,
Yeah,
right?
British.
So
Those are the Protestant Irish. Just so you know.
yeah, well, I protest every fucking anyway. So. They're the ugliest. Then you have Great Britain, that's second ugliest, and then you can go around Europe, but it's not even a question. Like if you go, yo, I slept with this English girl. last
Nobody's
night.
impressed.
Yeah, it's not an impressive thing. But if you go like Swedish or
Ooh.
something,
Yo, actually, I had a question about this. This is related.
Okay.
What do you think's harder to find? A girl with a good face or a girl with a good body?
Face.
Whoa.
Face is God given.
I think you gotta ask what country?
Okay. I would say I'm framing it as America, but if you want to go international.
I say
In America,
Yeah.
goodbye.
we have to define good body as something interesting.
I was going to say it's subjective. It's
Yeah.
Good body's very subjective.
Very subjective, but I'm also very specific with body. Like you can be in good shape,
Okay.
but not have a good body.
Oh.
So you can have ripped abs and your legs are all good, but like
It's too-
unfortunately your legs are fucking knock-kneed. You got no ass.
yeah,
you
he's
got-
very specific.
you know what I mean? You got big fucking shoulders or some shit. It's unfortunate.
Ashy toes.
Ashy ass toes. Like Al. I just described Al.
Yeah, I know. Whole time.
No,
you pretty
but,
to me,
like,
Al.
you have a great body for a guy, but if you were a girl, it'd be a fucking horrible body.
Yeah, you got a great body and pants, bro.
Like if you look at male action figures, right?
Mark's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, he's mad I closed all my rings today on my Apple
But nah, but for real, you look at any like cartoons and shit like that, they're built like you.
Oh yeah,
Like Mr. Incredible is built like you.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
But if you look at Mrs. Incredible,
built like me.
built like Mark. Son.
I'm a Pixar mom.
That's it.
Yo, me and Al make a perfect little duo.
Y'all need to switch bodies for sure, dude.
This looks like a magic trick, dude. Like the fucking...
Where's David Blaine? Fix these motherfuckers, bro. Al gets the white dick he's always wanted.
Never.
So, what the fuck are we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Ugliest women.
So, like, there are
yeah.
fat chicks with pretty ass faces. There are plenty, maybe that you could maybe make an argument. There are plenty of girls with pretty faces. But having a unique physique, if you're picky with physique, like the way the legs are shaped, the hip to waist ratio, like all these things, it might be tougher. It might be tougher.
So if you're walking down the street, what are the odds you see a girl with a perfect body or a girl with a perfect face? Like which one do you think are more?
See, I think there's more butter faces than there are butter bodies or whatever you call that.
I'll push back on that. Just one thing. When you're walking down the street, it's not her whole body is amazing. There's a part of her body that's amazing, and then we forgive the rest.
I could work with that.
Like, yo, the ass is crazy, but you're not really looking at everything else around the ass, or the titties are crazy. You're not really looking at everything around it.
Yeah.
She's got the franchise ass.
Franchise ass.
Brings out the rest of the.
I could work with that. Call me DJ Quick because I could work with that.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I guess I don't know, Al. What do you think? What's more rare?
I think good body is more rare.
Natural good body.
Natural good body, yeah.
I also think the face is so made up; it's hard to tell just walking on the street.
Also, good point.
So much
You're
makeup,
not getting
so
a
much
realistic
deception.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, what do you think?
I don't know. I go 50-50 because I'm like, you could work out a body to get it pretty good.
That's my point.
That's the best answers.
No. I disagree with that.
So I'm like, I think you could work out a body to a point where I'm like, oh yeah, that girl's fire. When really she just does squats all the time as a huge ass. But then I'm like, face, you have to do like a lot of surgeries, work, shit like that.
There's a lot more girls having to do Facetune on IG than anything else.
Are we counting no surgery?
Yeah, no surge.
But is working out surgery?
No.
Okay, working out's allowed.
All natch.
Yeah.
Working out's natural. That's fine, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I guess my only pushback is just, and it sucks saying this because it's like, I don't want to not inspire women to work out. Like, work out and be the best body that you can possibly have, blah, blah, blah. But there are girls that, like, are super fit. They're just not built sexy. They're just not. You know what I mean?
But being fit brings up your base sexiness.
100% brings up base sexiness. But a girl with a really pretty face that's fit, her just body is fucked up. I couldn't. That's just me. I don't know. Like, I see that body is the vehicle. This is for life. You know, like, this is. I'm looking at you going, all right, you could chase the kids around, you know, not fucking stumbling over your knees and shit. Right? You know, like, it's what you're going to have to do.
Stumbling over your knees.
These little knock-kneed ass girls. You know, the girls who, like, when they extend their leg, it goes even further back, like an ostrich.
Yeah, the ostrich.
Yeah.
Rough.
Knees banging into each other.
Yeah, you can't, you know.
Newton's cradle. Fucking,
the energy balls. That's called Newton's cradle.
Yeah.
That's funny. I never knew the name of that. Yeah. I would reference that in a joke back in the day, and I would be like that science experiment with the balls that hit each other. It was back and forth.
It is a funnier way to describe it, though. Fair enough.
Where did those go? I don't see those anymore.
Yeah, right? I guess we just
We got the internet now, dog. We don't need this stupid shit.
Yeah, bro.
Nah, like,
girls got fake asses now. We don't need fucking.
I guess.
Bro, the internet-
be kind of fire. Just
watching them keep going. Yeah.
Remember people used to have globes? Well, the internet killed all that dumb shit.
really did.
If it ain't fun, get it out. We don't need it.
Yeah, dude. That's why minimalism's in right now.
Go.
Yeah.
There's like.
Shout out to the minimalists.
Because we got a maximalist shit right here.
Yeah.
I think two reasons. One, I actually was thinking about this. I wonder if corporations push the minimalist shit because they save money on like printing and branding and stuff. Like if you have a logo with all these like colors and serifs and fucking squigglies and shit, or you can just go lines, you know what I mean? Helvetica.
Yeah.
You save like 10% on every time you print the tag or something.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I'm
That's
like,
a good point.
what if they go, yo, minimal's sick, you know? Our store has nothing in it.
Don't you think like one is a reflection of like whatever's popular? So like if like tons of shit is popular, then minimalist looks unique. And then eventually minimalist is going to have a wave, and then tons of shit as well looks cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting back against, you know, what is the most popular thing so they can stand out. Sometimes you stand out by being nothing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you stand out by being everything.
I just feel like I figured it would come back.
Fucking
It'll come back. Baggy
Silicon
jeans.
Valley. It's like, hey, let me not dress in anything, but that's also dress it.
Yeah,
Something, you know?
yeah. I'm gonna be the most subtle with my shit. Yeah.
But wear the same outfit every day and make you aware that I'm wearing the same outfit every day.
Single day. Yeah. I'm gonna write a whole have a PR team write a whole blog about how I wear the same thing every day, so you know why I'm wearing the same thing every day. Yeah, I have more time to focus on thinking, really.
30
5
seconds.
minutes to get dressed or 30 seconds.
I've been wearing the same shirt every day. I don't feel any smarter.
We know.
But you came in with more confidence today.
I did.
I think it's a new shirt, dog.
I did. No, I got new shirts coming, though. Shouts to the guy who delivered my shirt to the wrong address last time I ordered.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Yo, before we
those
hit
new
next
jeans?
topic,
You want to
can I
pee?
piss? Yeah.
Go pee.
Are those new jeans?
Yeah.
Those new jeans.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
All right, we're back from the pee break. It's time for some Patreon questions. Let's get into it right now. Akaash, what do we got? Also, we got to find a way where you guys can do these questions in video. Submit them as videos of yourselves. That'd be kind of cool to put you guys on, roast that ass.
Yeah.
For your goofy ass questions. So yeah, let's figure out a way we can do that. I'm sure you can submit them in some way, maybe DMs, or maybe even put them directly on Patreon. We'll find something. But go, what do we got?
Beef Wellington. Bruh, how the fuck Kanye West become the richest black man in America? Have we discussed this at all
I
yet?
don't believe that he got money, bruh.
It's from like Forbes. They would fact check, talking about fact check,
how
Kylie not
does
being
he-
a billionaire.
Where is his billion? Dove, do you know this? Where his
He's got
billions
100
exist?
million in cash, apparently. This doesn't add up to 6. He's got like 1.3 or something in music, but then the rest, I assume, is just the Adidas shares he has or
So
whatever.
he has stock in Adidas. They give him a significant portion of the company. Is that it? Mm-hmm. And because Adidas is valuable, he has that value within the stock.
Yeah.
And they gave him that big a piece of the company? That's crazy.
No, he rose the company's value that much.
Really?
Yeah. Their stock.
Apparently, the sales are still doing well. Like, no matter what happens to Yeezy, the Yeezys still sell well. I think they've even gone up recently.
As an example, the same example with Gap, he hasn't even launched a collection, and just from the announcement, it's gone up 19%, the shares of Gap. So they know if they can expect what happened to Adidas with Yeezys, that can happen at Gap.
So basically, if you have $1 billion company and it goes up 20%, you just made $200 million for that company.
Yeah.
And you, let's say you have 5% or whatever the fuck that is, you get 5% of that 200 million increase in price, which is still not a fucking $6 billion, whatever he has. I am very hesitant to believe that he has all this money. I'm sorry.
No, we all just accept it. I accept it because it's Forbes, but you're right. Mentally, you're like, how do you get...
I mean, what is
You know what, though?
Adidas worth? Like, how many billion is Adidas itself
Oh,
worth?
probably a lot.
You think?
I think a lot.
Like 100 billion? I don't know how much companies are worth.
In my mind, that's not unreasonable. 100 billion. Maybe Nike seems like it'd be 100 billion. Adidas would be like
According to this
70,
article
60.
from the Wealth Record, it says 40 billion.
So Adidas, the entire company, is worth 40 billion, and Kanye is worth 6 billion. Let's call it 5 billion. So in terms of his Adidas,
12.5% of Adidas shares you would have to have, I think. That's 1/8.
But actually, a story just came out where it's like he was saying he was worth like 6-something billion, and then they corrected it now to like 1.3 billion, like because they can't really count the gap yet because they haven't started selling any of the products, so they don't know how much it's going to be worth. So it's like he got to 6 billion based off the estimate of what they think the gap
Okay.
launch is going to be worth.
I see it.
But he's still, to be 1.3 is impressive.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And
And
he's-
he's crazy. He's a legit mentally ill person, and he made $1 billion in a minute.
You know what's the craziest
Greatest
part to
country
me?
in the world.
125 million or whatever, like liquid. He went from being announcing I'm 50 million in debt to now I actually have 150 million that I can access anytime I want to. I don't have to sell anything. That blows my fucking mind.
Guys, this is easy. Compare it to people in the tech world. All these billionaires that come from making an app or one of these services on a perceived value based off of, when they're doing the fundraise and that valuation. We know he's already killed it with Yeezys. He's just going to probably do it again with the Gap. Like having that value is pretty simple to me.
Was his divorce a clean split?
I think they probably signed a prenup. If I was Kim, I would have signed a prenup. Loser ass bitch.
They signed a prenup, and I heard like it's gonna a clean divorce, like
Because they both made money out of it. Yeah. And they're not hurting. But then again, maybe he made way more.
It seems
ultimately he'll be worth more if he just stays stable enough or follows through with this gap thing almost.
God bless him, man.
And according to the original question, it was the richest black man in America, which is like kind of a misnomer. According to this, the richest black person in America is this guy Robert
Johnson,
Smith,
Robert
Vista
Smith.
Equity, and his net worth is $6 billion. So I think these like sort of like loose estimate valuation things were like over $6 billion.
Yeah,
but I think it'd be crazy to touch $6 billion.
I mean, it's crazy he touched $1 billion.
Yeah,
like he's looking at Jay-Z like
little boy.
Yeah,
little boy.
Yeah,
yeah, he really is looking at him like a little boy.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's mentally not all together.
Yeah, but think about it like the Kardashian family. Who would have thought you would have thought Kim would be the most valuable, and then Kylie.
Yeah,
her ownership.
Yeah, that's true. Oof, equity in the companies that explode, man. That is the name of the game. Well, good for Kanye, man. Good for Kanye. I mean, he's such a fucking annoying pain in the ass that like it's hard to root for him, but you got to respect the hustle, man, especially if he's making these decisions. Everybody calling him crazy, but he's now worth $6 billion. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, two things can be true. You could be crazy and brilliant.
Shit.
And worth $6 billion.
Let's go.
Sounds like a Kanye lyric, bro. It sounds like he wrote that shit.
What else we got?
We have Christos Papa Stefanu. Did Bill Belichick sign all the free agents just to prove Schultz wrong? That made me laugh.
What is that?
Bill Belichick, is he signing all these free agents just to prove?
Yo, I don't recognize not one of them. Now, I'm not the biggest football fan, but like everybody acting like he signed fucking Lawrence Taylor and shit out of the retirement. Like, come on, man. Like, who does he have? Who's on that team that you're like, oh my God?
He got a couple. I think his defense is just going to be stacked, but he still doesn't have a quarterback. So if Cam doesn't play any better, you can only go so far. Or if they don't draft one, they're still only going to go so far.
Yeah.
I think he's still holding on to this like I can win without a quarterback to really, I think it's all a fuck you to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Oh, I can win without a quarterback. I don't need a quarterback at all. Watch me stack this defense. Watch us.
I mean, that would be the most effective way to secure his legacy, right? If Tom secures his legacy with winning without Belichick, Belichick has to secure his legacy with winning without a quarterback.
Yes.
Or, a quarterback that we all perceive as a bum, which unfortunately is how we perceive Cam now.
Right now, yeah.
I mean, you got high schoolers talking shit to you, son. Like, imagine how much you got to fall off where high schoolers are like, yo, you don't even got a job.
That shit is so funny, bro.
Son.
Everyone in their life gets bullied by a high schooler. You know,
but it's usually when you're
normally you're in middle school, maybe early high school. Not when you're like millionaire, 34 or something.
Won an MVP, went to the Super Bowl, and some high school kid is like, you don't have a job. Neither do you.
Yeah, Ken Newton sees a school bus and he's like, oh, fuck.
You're a camper. You're at a camp.
What else we got, man?
Haheo Keohai? Can we please acknowledge how bad of an omen Andrew is? Bitcoin is down. Patriots went on a goddamn spending spree. The Nets are beasts right now, and Biden is president. Fuck.
Yo, that one hurt, bro. Like, y'all hold on. Let me check my Coinbase. Right? What do you mean Bitcoin is down, bro? Hold on now. We back, baby!
Where's that?
In the green! Plus 0.22%.
That's Andrew's investing strategy, bro.
We back. It's just green and red.
Is it
bro.
green or is it red?
It's green and red. It's green we go. When it's red we go. Oh shit! I'm gonna lose it all. Nah, because your boy Elon, son. Elon said he's gonna accept payment for Tesla outside the U.S. in Bitcoin.
Anybody who's accepting payment in Tesla, I'm like, I'm not paying it. I'm glad you're accepting it, but I'm not paying that shit. Good for you. You're smart, but I'm not paying you in Bitcoin.
Nah,
I'm paying you in this fiat ass money.
That's the right business
doing
decision,
that.
but you have to understand, like, it validates the currency and you actually buy things.
No, 100%. I love that it's happening, but I ain't doing it.
You couldn't see someone that has 1,000 in Bitcoin.
Nope.
That just all of a sudden their money went crazy and they're like, all right, let's buy one.
Nope. I wouldn't.
Yes, he's just being annoying. They 100%. If you bought Bitcoin at $2 and now you're a fucking millionaire for doing nothing, like 100%, you're gonna peel off a fucking fraction of a bit or one Bitcoin for your new Tesla.
Do you have to pay taxes when you bring it back into regular cash or some shit? Like,
well, he said he's not bringing it back into regular cash.
That's what I'm saying.
It'll
so if you just do
kept as-
Bitcoin, you'll save money, right? Like if you just have your Bitcoin that you've had for a while and just buy the Tesla and Bitcoin, you don't have to pay like capital gains on it, right?
The government gonna get their money, but again, he's not doing this in America. He said for some reason it's not happening in America, so maybe there's that taxation.
Maybe he's trying to keep the Bitcoins in America. Patriot ass Elon.
How we talking?
Love this guy,
I
man.
like this motherfucker.
The greatest dude.
All right, one more and then we out of here, boys.
Thejal Naik asks, who has the best big three in basketball history? I think
It's got to be Golden State.
Golden State, yeah. Brooklyn right now is up there, but it's got to be.
Who is
Golden
your big three for Golden State?
Oh, Dre's not in it. It's Clay, KD, and Steph. And that's fucking ridiculous. Maybe the greatest two-way player of all time in Clay. Or definitely the greatest shooter of all time. And then one of the greatest scorers of all time.
Greatest two-way player of all time is Kawhi, probably.
Yeah, sorry. Greatest 3-and-D player of all time is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And it's not even close.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's so tricky because, like, if Clay doesn't come back from this injury, he'll be forgotten in history.
Yeah.
Because he never carried anything on his own. We witnessed the greatness. We witnessed him scoring fucking, 50 points on, 12 dribbles or some shit.
He was insane. And we saw game 7, I guess it was, against OKC. He kept them in that game.
Yeah.
He dominated.
Yeah.
And honestly, game 6 against the Raptors where he got hurt, he was unfucking real. He actually said in some interview, like, in that game, I was like, oh, I've hit a new level as a player.
Yeah.
And then he tore his fucking ACL, which is tragic.
Such a shame.
Yeah. But that's got to be it.
But yeah, so I just wonder, like, if in history, us saying that will sound stupid because people don't recognize the greatness of that player. Like, maybe James Worthy was an amazing player.
Yeah.
But we just don't
We didn't see it.
know a lot about James
couldn't
Worthy.
appreciate it.
Imagine Kareem Worthy. Do it by decade.
But that's the thing. Worthy to us is not special. There's the recency bias. Like Magic Kareem, 100%.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know. Maybe there's a Bulls.
Pippen, Rodman, Jordan.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
think
big
you
one.
could make that argument too. Pippen, Rodman, Jordan. Like Rodman was just so prolific defensively and rebounding.
Bro, the 60s Lakers, they didn't win a championship either, but they had Wilt, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West.
They won one with Jerry, right?
They did, but I think Elgin Baylor left at that point.
Gotcha.
It was crazy.
R.I.P. Elgin Baylor, by the way.
And I'm a Laker fan, but you can't say that it was a Kobe Shaq thing. There wasn't an obvious three, but like Duncan and Ginobili, Parker, that type of thing was. I mean, they dominated.
Yeah,
Robinson, Duncan, and who was the third on that team?
Parker was there for one of the championships with Robinson, Tony Parker, but he was like a rookie. The real big three, if you're doing Spurs, is Robinson, Ginobili, Parker.
Yeah. What?
Nothing.
Ooh, the Heat.
Oh.
James, Bosch, D Wade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, Dub's on the same article the
Yeah, I'm thinking from the article. You were like, Dub knows sports.
So we all Googled the best big three. And so I'm about
These fucking cheaters.
I didn't cheat. I didn't cheat.
No. I'm about to
full bullshit. And
I have
just googling all the answers.
I have LeBron 3. I have
Don't trust none of
LeBron.
their takes for the rest of this fucking podcast history, yo. All that
Sports
podcast,
misinformation.
that's sports.
Go to bleacherreport.com.
Yeah, that's true.
Go to bleacherreport.com if you want to know Dub's takes.
The funniest thing, I have LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh on my screen about to say something. This motherfucker scrolls out to the same three, and then he's like trying to jump out in front
And
of
then
me.
Dub got there first.
And then Dub just fucking truffled his way in there. Oh, what about Ginobili?
about
He knows
this
about
guy?
basketball. He never
He's
talks
real
about
your
basketball.
take, man.
Divide and conquer, bro. That's what Dub did to y'all.
Hey, come on, Dub.
Anyway, man, guys, that's been another episode of Flagrant 2's Patreon. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep spreading the word. Keep spreading the flagrancy. Keep enjoying that Alexx Jones episode. And who knows? Maybe we bring it over here.
Or NFT. I would still love that.
Or NFT. We'll figure that shit out. We'll see you guys Tuesday. Thank you so much.
God bless.